And I knew that I had to have more faith than fear, because of course, when you start something new or you envision yourself a certain way, it's never easy in the beginning, right? You have to gradually keep being consistent until you become that person. And even when you become that person, you still want more. You're still curious to see what else there is inside of you or what else God has for you. And the fear of failure, the fear of other people's opinions and projections is usually what holds us back. And I decided in January that nobody is going to have control over my life ever again. It's now going to be up to me for me to show up consistently and really believe in myself beyond other people of what they think, or, if they believe in me or not. It doesn't matter. As long as you believe in you, it doesn't matter what other people think. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back for another insightful video. I wanted to share with you something so relatable, because in the last 5 months, I have improved becoming my higher self, my dream girl, by removing a few of these similar things and habits that I'm about to mention. Now that we are halfway through the year, it's super important to reflect and become aware of things that are actually not serving us. And sometimes we hold on to it for so long. We envision ourselves as the dream girl or becoming our best self. But we don't really realize that inside of us, we doubt ourselves, we criticize ourselves, and most importantly, we care too much about what other people think. All of these 10 things are super relatable to you, so make sure to keep watching. And if you're not already subscribed, I hope along the way you hit that subscribe button. Girls, I want to know a few things that you have actually given up or you have been working on in the last few months to remove or limit from your life for you to be en route to becoming your dream girl, your hottest, your healthiest, and your happiest self. Drop it down below in the community here. I'm also going to be posting on my community board Q&A so that you guys can ask me questions, because I really want to have a sit down chit chat with you guys. I welcome you to the community at all times to be transparent, authentic, and open. This is a safe space for you guys, and it's a learning opportunity for all of us to learn off of each other while growing with each other. Here are 10 things that I had to remove, and immediately it changed my life. Starting off with tip number 1, your negative self-talk. We got to get really clear with who we want to become. And if you're looking and striving to becoming your dream girl, then how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself is super important. And oftentimes we self-criticize so much, I think daily, and we don't really realize that instead of enforcing positive affirmations, where some people don't really think that it works, but it actually does. You have to speak to yourself as though you are already that dream girl, as you are a work in progress. If you don't believe that it's not going to happen for you, or if you are not that person, it's just going to take a longer time. You have to believe it. And oftentimes I was waiting for other people to see what I didn't see, or I was waiting for people to tell me about myself rather than me experiencing and learning about myself for me. I started with limiting my self-doubt, and I started believing in myself, especially with starting my YouTube channel. So I really want to relate a lot of this to starting my YouTube channel, because I know a lot of people want to start YouTube channels or just start to put themselves out there more. And it's going to start with believing in yourself and believing that a lot of the things that you desire are actually capable of achieving. However, it is easier for us to doubt ourselves than it is for us to believe in ourselves. So really changing your self-talk to start believing that if you do show up, if you do be consistent, if you do put an effort, that things will actually align and work out for you. as God has written your future already. He's just waiting for you to see your own potential. I also had to become aware of my efforts, which my efforts then would translate into how I talk to myself. Because if your efforts are lacking, if you're lazy, unmotivated, you give up really quickly, you don't put any effort into yourself, then of course, it's going to be easier to doubt yourself because you have no habits that are consistently pushing you forward. I had to treat myself, and I think you should too, treat yourself like a plant. I oftentimes talk about how if you don't water your plant ends up dying. And a lot of the times we end up dying with our goals and our dreams right inside of us. And I know that a lot of the times you think that life is supposed to carry you to a certain age, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. That's why it's super important to measure yourself up to your efforts daily and try and talk to yourself in a way where you're so excited, looking forward to who you could possibly become by what you do today. Number 2 is going to be procrastination, because I know that we can all relate to that, where oftentimes we delay a lot of our dreams and our goals. We delay it because we're like, oh, I'm not feeling that great today, or I don't feel like showing up. Well, honey, I wouldn't meet you guys and get to grow this community if I didn't consistently show up. And procrastination, we need to switch that to consistency and our efforts and showing up. Putting in that work even when you don't feel like it. It's going to add or allow you to reap the success and the results of your efforts and consistency. At the beginning of the year, I was reflecting on how I spend my time and how much discipline I had in achieving my goals. And I didn't. And that is why when the year started, I knew that I had to put more discipline in my routine. Discipline is going to be the foundation that holds you every time you don't want to show up. I knew that I had to be consistent when posting my videos, making my videos, even if I didn't want to. I knew that I wanted to look a certain way, not just as a coach, but in general as somebody who just wants to feel and look good in their body. And that requires discipline, because it's so easy for you to see temptation, for you to give in to temptation. Your goals should reflect your daily habits and your discipline. We got to become aware of, do we have discipline? Are we saying no to things that don't serve us? Or are you constantly saying yes to things that don't serve you, which is going to be just wasting time or just putting things off when you know that you should be committing to it, showing up today. Now ask yourself, every time that you want to procrastinate, you don't feel like doing the do or getting things done, or you're just feeling like you're in a rut or stuck, ask yourself, who is your dream girl and what would she be doing right now to become her best self? What does your dream girl look like? What does her daily habits look like? What does her mindset look like? Because if your dream girl is somebody that you cut out and put on your vision board and it didn't have your face, then you need to go and reevaluate why it is that you're chasing somebody else's life, somebody else that is now your dream or your goal, when the focus should solely be you becoming your own dream girl. Procrastination is only going to hold you back. Number 3 is going to be an unhealthy lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of people have body goals, health goals that they're looking forward to, but let me ask you a question. Do your efforts, your consistency, and discipline align? Are you actually showing up, especially when you don't want to, when it comes to your health and wellness goals? And that is going to require some discipline. As I've been in the fitness industry for about 9 years now, along the way, I have become more disciplined and structured. I now also pay attention to foods that don't make me feel good, make me feel groggy, tired, bloated. I like skin tight outfits. So I just always make sure that I'm eating food that provide a good amount of nutrients that just make me come alive and feel alive naturally. I don't drink pre-workout. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink a lot of crappy outside drinks. I try and make sure that I stick to a routine and a foundation that I know makes me feel good. And it just takes a lot of practice along the way of learning yourself and learning your body and really paying attention to when you don't feel that great. One win for me was just cutting out alcohol or just limiting it in general. I feel like oftentimes when you go out with your friends, you feel like you have to do what they are doing. And that is when you don't have boundaries and standards. And for me, I had to get really confident with saying, no, it doesn't serve me right now, or I just don't feel like drinking. Plus, most of the time, I'm always driving to events so that I can leave whenever I want to. But for me, I don't like waking up tired. I don't like waking up groggy, hungover, just not feeling good in my body. I tend to stretch my alcohol consumption, or I just don't drink it at all. Knowing that even if my partner wants to drink, I don't have to join him. I can be that girl that is asking for hot water and lemon, or just water in general, or you can just order a different drink or a mocktail. But you don't always have to be buzzed or intoxicated or trying other substances, because you're not going to be able to show up for your goals. There are certain things that will just throw me off. And if I can't wake up with a clear mind, I can't even show up for my YouTube channel. I knew that creating videos and creating a community on YouTube was something that I became really passionate about and I really take seriously. So I knew that I just needed to make sure my mindset and my mental state is always intact. If you can't show up with a clear mind, you need to reevaluate your choices, because as you sleep, if you're sleeping and you're still stressed and you got high blood pressure and you just got things, too much stress on your mind, you got to look at alleviating some of that pressure on you, some of that stress. And when you start to drink and add things to it, doesn't make you feel any better. Number 4 is toxic relationships. And I am good at this, honey. I will distance myself if I feel like it's one-sided. And I no longer force relationships. I no longer force or chase friendships. I am not chasing you if you are not chasing me. I love me a good friendship and relationship that the energy is reciprocated, the respect is reciprocated. But in this day and age, some people are just so selfish, and some people only show up to put your goals down, to belittle you, to manipulate you, to take advantage of you. And you have to pay attention when you're working on yourself. It's okay to be selfish with your time and your energy, especially your energy. Like, I'm high energy. I'm always pouring into other people, but I know when it's necessary for me to pull back to work on myself. And if I'm feeling drained, I really have to take a step back and fill my cup. Things like getting my nails done, taking myself out to the movies or to a nice restaurant by myself, lighting some candles and sitting in a nice warm bath without social media, taking myself out of this social life for a second and filling my cup to come back to it, but also paying attention to the energies that are around me that drain me. And I try and limit myself from those energies. Okay, you can love people from afar, but once it starts to impact your health, your stress levels, you know, the way that you show up for yourself based on how they make you feel, that's when you need to reevaluate your friendships and your relationships and stop staying in things that don't grow you or add to you or make you feel really good. Because oftentimes I've stayed in toxic relationships because I didn't want anybody else to have this toxic person, when God knew and I knew that I needed to let them go. But out of selfish reasons, I kept them close to me when they still made me feel really small. And so this year I decided, I'm like, I'm just going to focus on me. Naturally, people will just align. And if they have something to contribute, they'll contribute. But my eyes are open. If you have nothing to contribute, it's a distance. People also show you that they either care about you or they don't, or they have selfish tendencies based on their effort. Do they call you? Do they text you? Do they go out of their way to, you know, plan dates with you or keep you in mind or just check in on you or comfort you? Or are they just only there when you show up? Because for me, if I'm always going out of my way to plan dates and you never call me, text me, I'm done with that. But if there are no standards and boundaries that people meet and respect and value time that people actually appreciate, they're not your friend. Number 5 is going to be fear of failure. Huge, guys. At the beginning of the year, if you guys have been here from the beginning, then you know that I had made a faith board and I wanted to show you guys. Sorry for the lights in the background. So I made a faith board, and God is within her. She will not fall. I didn't get lucky. I prayed a lot. There are just so many reminders on here, especially on days where I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like going all in. I don't feel like going all in on my goals. Or God, is this really for me? Is this really going to work out? Should I go a different route? That's when that self-doubt kicks in and the fear comes up of how people are going to perceive you. Is it going to work out? A lot of the times we're afraid of failure. And you know what? I had to get really focused on my faith, believing and asking God for what it is that I want and asking for direction. I started off this year with asking God for direction and his blessing and covering over my life and my path. You got to remember that God, whether you believe in God or the universe, your book has already been written. God knew the mistakes that we were already going to make. God knew when we were going to change and want to change and actually follow through with changing. Everything is already written, right? It's just on our time. Do we wait and procrastinate, or do we listen? Do we see the signs and actually pay attention to the signs that are showing us that we need to change or commit? And I knew that I had to have more faith than fear, because of course, when you start something new or you envision yourself a certain way, it's never easy in the beginning, right? You have to gradually keep being consistent until you become that person. And even when you become that person, you still want more. You're still curious to see what else there is inside of you or what else God has for you. And the fear of failure, the fear of other people's opinions and projections is usually what holds us back. I know a lot of you want to start YouTube channels and you haven't, because you're afraid of your family, what they're going to think. You're afraid of friends and strangers, and they have so much power and control over your life. And I decided in January that nobody is going to have control over my life ever again. It's now going to be up to me for me to show up consistently and really believe in myself beyond other people of what they think, or, you know, if they believe in me or not, it doesn't matter. As long as you believe in you, it doesn't matter what other people think. Definitely having faith over fear is going to change your life, because if you keep and hold closely to the mindset that it will all work out, or God is going to align me where I need to be, and just manifest your desired life, your desired reality, which takes discipline, consistency, and effort. Keep showing up, keep believing, keep praying, keep asking for guidance, keep writing in your gratitude books, keep showing up and asking and manifesting. But it requires your effort. It requires your consistency daily, for you doing bit by bit daily, right? And I knew that I wanted to grow a community on YouTube, which requires me to have more faith over fear. And that is what I did, and it changed my life. Which leads to number 6, your comfort zone. And they do say that your comfort zone holds you hostage. There's no result, nothing built within your comfort zone. And in order to see and become your dream girl, it's going to take you hopping over obstacles, embracing when obstacles and challenge come up, where you're not so quick to give up or become overly stressed and panic, just knowing that the situation or what's going on in your season right now will pass. That too shall pass, right? God always brings the sun out, but you have to weather the storm. And nothing good is built when you give up. Nothing good is built when you stay where you are and you want to stay stagnant. And then putting yourself out there. If you are an introvert, I used to be an extrovert, then I became an introvert, but I still have extrovert tendencies where I want to put myself in rooms to meet people. But if I don't leave my house, I'm not going to meet people. If you don't leave your house, you're not going to meet your partner, your new love, significant other. You're not going to meet your new best friend if you don't put yourself out and you're just always doing the same routine. If you keep living in the same consistent routine that is not actually serving you, you don't feel fulfilled or happy, or sometimes you feel in lack of or jealous of other people, that the way that they get to live. Look at and reevaluate your habits, reevaluate your day-to-day. reevaluate how your day is going, how your day usually goes. And if it's constantly in the same routine that you know that doesn't make you feel really good, then let's change it. Let's start adding things to your routine that make you want to come alive, that puts you in rooms that you get to meet people and introduce yourself and network and do things outside of your comfort zone. A lot of the times we get so complacent in our routine, in this structure that is not pushing us to write more into our books, put more into our palette. Explore your dream girl. What does she do daily? What is she adding? What is she looking forward to? Number 7 is your clutter and disorganization. Now, if you have a messy space, your mind is always going to be messy. I'm going to relate this to starting my YouTube channel because I think it was super important for me to be organized, make sure I plan out the topics that I want to talk about, especially when I'm usually sharing on my own life obstacles and challenges and testimony. I needed to make sure that my space around me is always organized, it's clean. I take time out because my dream girl initially is just a low maintenance girl with high standards and exudes a lot of confidence and elegance and just is always polished. And I don't want to just look a certain way. I want to feel that. I want to breathe that. I want my surroundings to feel that. If you don't like cleaning or organizing, then it's time to look into hiring an organizer or a cleaner. Also, we're transitioning into springtime where it's time to just declutter your closet, your environment around you. In the back of my head, I'm always like, if I can't move a bunch of this stuff with me across the world, then I don't need more of it, or I just need to get rid of a few things. You can't take everything with you. And just remember, you can't take anything with you when you die as well. So have that in the back of the mind when you think that you need to buy something for you to actually start your YouTube channel. No, you don't. You just need what's already inside of you. Really going to come down to what you left in the world, you know, what your legacy was in the world. So just start creating, just start putting yourself out there. Just start by opening yourself up to being vulnerable and transparent and authentic and just being you. And sometimes you just got to look around you and look around that a lot of these things don't serve you. That was your old self, but who is your dream girl? What does she exude? Maybe you need a new closet, a new wardrobe. So donate some of those pieces. You know, I oftentimes used to hang on to clothes that I'm like, I haven't worn it in 4 years, but maybe I'll wear it this year. No, girl, you're not going to wear it at all. It's going to come down to reflecting and matching who your dream girl is, what she looks like, how she carries herself, what her space and environment looks like. That is super important. And doing this, I now see that I don't need to overspend. I don't need to do too much with myself. I just need to show up as me, and I had to get rid of a few things, a few people, a few places in order for me to become my dream girl. Number 8 is going to be complaining. It's easy to complain. It's easy for me to say that I'm in lack of something. However, the minute I woke up in January 2024, I knew that I wanted to get focused with journaling in my gratitude book. And I had my gratitude book for about 3 years. Did I take it seriously? No. When I was on this venture of starting my YouTube channel, I would write down my subscribers and growing and also just reflecting on my journey. And it always brought me back to gratitude, because when I started my journey for YouTube, I said to myself, as long as I have one person to inspire and I've changed one life, I've impacted one person, that was good enough for me. I didn't need a bunch of views. I didn't need a big audience. I just wanted to start to share what I genuinely share with my own clients. I now wanted to put that into the world and have it blossom wherever it needed to be. And when you're constantly complaining or in a negative headspace, it's hard to see the blessings that are actually around you, because where you are right now, you may not be in the greatest season, but if you look around at a few things, you ask the universe or God for what you currently have. You asked or envisioned yourself where you are, or bits and pieces in your life. They are there because you wanted it at some point. You craved it so bad that you eventually got it. And it doesn't have to always be put together all at once. But as we grow, as we blossom, you know, obstacles and challenges come up. Seasons come up where they're good seasons and they're hard hard, challenging seasons. But we always, if you look and you open your eyes, there's always something to be grateful for. The breath that you have, the eyes that you have, the voice that you have, the hands that you can use. I had to realize upon starting my channel that I already had what I needed in order to start. I was already myself, and all I had to do was accept myself and just start talking. And I had to be grateful that God had already given me like hands to use, the opportunity to use my voice, to use my personality and my character to put myself in front of this camera and this audience. So if you are contemplating on starting, I hope that just inspired you to start. Number 9 is going to be excessive screen time. I had to change out and replace my excessive screen time with doing productive activities. Activities like spin class, pole lessons. I've been adding a lot more to my palette to just find out more of who my dream girl is. What activities does she enjoy? And actually just living my life for me, so that I'm looking forward to adding more things to my palette, to my storybook. I know a lot of the times we can catch ourselves being prisoners to our phones, and I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. And that is why it's super important to become really disciplined and aware of how you use your phone, how often you catch yourself just doing nothing beneficial on it, like just always on social media. And it depends on what kind of content you're taking in. Are you absorbing content that makes you want to go after your goals, inspires you to go after your goals? Or are you entertaining or being busy with content that makes you feel in lack of or jealous of, or makes you doubt yourself, right? You have to be consuming content that makes you want to grow, that makes you want to glow, that makes you want to become your dream girl. If you are constantly on social media just watching everybody live their life, you are just going to be stagnant in your life. And you'll always feel in lack of or compare yourself. But you need to compare your reality to your efforts. Are you putting yourself in new rooms, in new situations? Are you getting out of the consistent routine that you come home from work, you're tired, and then you binge eat, and then you watch a bunch of TV, and then you don't feel that good. You wake up in the morning, you don't like what you see in the mirror. Are you constantly just going back to that routine because it's comfortable and it's something you've done for years? You know what I mean? Like if you're coming home and you're always just watching TV. You are doing nothing outside of your regular job to still add to your palette, to still get excited for things that, you know, you can continue to add to yourself and to find out and explore more of who your dream girl is. Number 10 is going to be financial mismanagement. I decided in January that I had enough clothes for sure. I have enough clothes, I have enough stuff. Honestly, if I wanted to pack up and go, I just can't bring everything with me. So it was super important for me to start budgeting myself and just being really smart with my money. I think a lot of the times, you know, even when it comes down to your daily habits, how you spend your money daily. I know people often spend money on takeout all day, on drinks all day, instead of buying groceries that you can multiply into a few cooked meals and nutritious meals at that, right? So I had to get really disciplined with how I spend my money, not just because I'm driving. Do I need to stop somewhere to buy something? I just need to go home and eat what's in the fridge, or make a good meal, or drink water, or bring my water with me, okay? I always have my water with me. I don't need a new outfit. I don't need this. I don't need that. I just need to show up as me. I also decluttered my closet, but I realized I still have enough clothes. I still have enough stuff. And all I did in these last 5 months was just show up as myself. I started taking care of myself. I started wearing the clothes that's in my closet. I started putting more effort into my appearance without needing to break the bank or spend a lot of money. I just learned how to do my makeup differently by watching other makeup artists on YouTube. And I use my own products that I like, that works for me, that have been working for me for the last 5 years. I started eating better so my skin would appear cleaner, fresher, and just glow. And these are all things that came down to my daily habits of myself, where then I didn't have to spend a bunch of money to do. I already have these things in my house. I'm not a financial advisor. However, I would advise you to ask yourself, what does your dream girl look like? How does she dress? And every time you want to go out of hand and spend a lot of money on a bunch of drinks all day, garbage food all day, outside of your house, things that just don't add to you, ask yourself, would your dream girl be buying this right now? Does your dream girl need this? Maybe instead of buying all of this stuff, you look at, and a lot of you guys have a shopping addiction. I used to, but just look, your reality is still your reality, and all you needed to do was show up as yourself. All you needed to do was add more effort and consistency and more discipline into becoming your dream girl, reinventing yourself, becoming your healthy, your hottest and happiest self. All you needed was already inside of you. And that is where you start first. Don't go buy a bunch of things because you're still gonna feel unfulfilled or in lack of. I hope you guys enjoyed my 10 insightful tips that have changed my directory of my 2024, of me reinventing myself. I love having you guys on this journey, as it has been so new to meet you all and to have you a part of the community. As we all reinvent ourselves, I think it goes a long way because we need a lot of love and support in this world, especially as women, as we're working and striving to become our best self, and we can't do it alone. We need more leaders, we need more loving leaders, and I just want to say a huge thank you and appreciation. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the post notification bell for when I drop the next insightful video. I'll see you guys in the next one.